bitches, welcome. So here's a thing I've learned about myself. I kind of really love Megatron. Like, he's always great fun on screen, and as a toy guy, I can always count on him for something really good and really different every time. I mean, obviously we love Optimus Prime, but every single time, no matter what, red truck, I sleep. But Megatron? Battle tank, handgun, spaceship, dinosaur. This dude's got range, and I've actually got a fair spread of Mega Mans floating around the place that I'd love to show you, and I could do a gigantic 110-minute special if you want to wait 2 years, or, hear me out, healthy alternative, I could just roll them out one at a time. So if you'll have me, I'd like to intro a new semi-regular segment on the show. Monthly Megatron. May not actually be monthly. And we'll begin, I think, with an absolute beast from just now or so. It's Studio Series 34 Leader Class Dark of the Moon Megatron. Now, I don't know about you, but my experience with the Michael Bay movies usually follows a certain pattern. I mean, I always love them on the big screen with the wow factor and the booming surround sound and the new release hype, but when I come to rewatch them at home, they can be intensely aggravating experiences. They always feel less like the ass-kicking joyride with a few annoying wobbles that I'd relished a year beforehand at the Showcase Deluxe, and more like just a procession of irritating assholes being off-puttingly snarky at each other over slightly too loud soft rock, while occasionally Transformers pop up to drop a dated one-liner and then erupt into robot gore. And while Dark of the Moon is far from the worst one,
we've got a pre-existing juvenile foundational relationship. Statute 2705-3.
What? Texas statute?
it is still a trying watch, and I always come away from the movie feeling like they did Megatron pretty dirty. I mean, he is still very much your one-note, puny humans boilerplate baddie, but from the moment he shows up, he's suffering, down and out, humiliated, struggling to feed his kids, and it only goes downhill from there. He gets squeezed out of the villainous scheme du jour, basically throws himself in the garbage to succumb to the head trauma that's clearly affecting his judgment, gets manipulated into revenging himself on the actual bad guy, and right when you think Megatron might just redeem himself,
we need a truce.
Beloved childhood icon Optimus Prime brutally sub-zeros the shit out of him, executes the already defeated elderly villain that Megatron just helped him beat, by the way, immediately forgives himself, and then one of my dead heroes asks me if I feel cold. Brother, I don't know what I feel. So let's just talk about the character design. Because despite his pitiful performance and sparse screen time, there's definitely something magnetic about this Megatron moment. There's an agony to it, a desperation, a pathos. This is the heavy-hearted husk of a fallen king. This is rock-bottom Megatron. This is Megatron. This is the day he said, alright, everything's ruined, I'm getting me a shotgun and a poncho. And that's what's so dangerous about it. He's had enough. It's psycho time, baby. How much worse could it get? Oh, wait.
Fatality.
But yes, this hunched hulk of a thing is part of what's so brilliant about the Studio series. Like, it's not just for doing really nice updated versions of toys that maybe weren't that great in the first place. It's also game for a bit of wish fulfillment. I mean, Transformers 3 was the first time that Megatron didn't get a big-ass leader class toy, and his Voyager one was noticeably way smaller than it probably should have been. So this definitely feels like a finally. Mind you, leader class sure doesn't mean what it did in 2010, but look around. This ain't 2010. So check it out. Megatron's definitely a Mardy looking meat mountain. Old, tired, spent, busted, rusted, but mad as hell and ready to rip. Guess we should start with the tarp, if only so we can pop it off and move on. Oh, I get to talk about cloth goods. Am I a real online toy review boy now, Daddy? I guess it looks pretty sweet. Definitely an improvement over the original's weird soft plastic tortilla, made from thin but tough fabric with a separate sewn-on hood piece and a machined faux tattered pattern, and a few well-placed gaps that let it hang off him roughly right. You can smush it in his armpit all you want and it'll bounce right back. Don't be shy. And I suppose I get it if you're not feeling this. Of course it's silly that it's a robot wearing a cowl. Of course it is. But it's fun. It's distinctive. And it so rarely happens outside of like Transformers Zone. And once you get under the hood, car joke, the robot mode's a stark sculpture of the full horror of Megatron's lowest ebb. Gnarled and emaciated and lashed together with ropes. Let me say right away, this thing does have a few problems. But it's got presence, man. It's got power. It's big and bad, and the detailing is unfuckwithable. It cannot be f***ed with. Like, the face is a stunningly saddening sculpt of a once great warrior watching his world crumble, with a slightly unnerving tilt and the sort of stylish asymmetry that only comes with serious cranial injury.
Your face. You're practically hollow.
Arms are bristling with truck tires and ugly other mode machinery, which all helps to smoothly blend those horrible exposed shoulder joints into the illusion. He is a big ugly machine, hello. It's thematic. Hands are just huge hideous hooks with a weird vertical snip for sir and a subtle gun grip groove for madam. That's what I call the shotgun. And most of the rest of his mighty mass is all folded up behind those fabulous feet. Honestly, I'm obsessed with these gigantic clompers and how they utterly dwarf his dweeby little thighs. It's perhaps not perfectly screen scaled, but it is very Transformers-y. Scrawny little thighs and enormous shins loaded with vehicle mode shit. That's classic stuff. So, what are those? They're just a gigantic angular tangular of salvage and smokestacks and stashed murder weapons. I love the audacity of this. Like, so little of what's here is actually feet. Little weird on the poses though. Like, he's packing hella deep elbows and serious double knees, but the thighs and shoulders are pretty restrictive and he's too friggin' flat-footed to pull off much more than a straight stand. Torso's a fantastically filthy physique with a rusty six-pack and oodles of twisted metal micro-detail. You can also pop off his rubbery He-Man brace to get a closer look, but honestly, nudity doesn't do him any favours. It just throws more light on how dodgily the body's put together. Same. I mean, that whole brilliant chest design is just a paper-thin facade, barely masking this massive chasm of bugger all.
You're practically hollow.
The back's weird as frig and all, like a lumpy techno-turtle shell decorated with H.R. Giger's tombstone. Honestly, it's such a bizarrely brazen botch job. You can kind of see why they gave him so many clothes. Anyway, the Studio Series in-box backdrop's a delicious deserted diorama of the Dark of the Moon Savannah junkyard hideout, complete with that little snot goblin geezer that looks like one of Longhaul's turds. And it's a neat enough little setup. That was one of the best scenes of Decepticons just hanging out and scheming in the whole series, even though I don't think any of the dialogue made any sense.
Copyright neutral theatre.
Oh, my poor master, how it pains me to see you so wounded, so weak.
Spare me, you gaseous sycophant. You know what you are told, which is nothing.
What? What was that in response to? Major last-minute script change energy. It's just baddies saying baddie-sounding things, isn't it? You know, I think I preferred that scene when I only half remembered it.
Misremembrance theatre.
You know what? Everyone on Earth's all wankers.
Yeah, wankers.
We should blow up this bollocks planet. Yeah! Screw everybody who's not just us lot. Lads.
So while Studio Megatron's robot mode does cheat quite spectacularly in some very important spots, it's definitely still got something. It's a brooding, unhinged spectre of a thing, like a solid slab of spite and shame. The perfect plastic manifestation of just a really bad day. Transformation's a little sketchy, but every time with the movie designs, I feel like it's a minor miracle to get them to work at all. And this is actually the perfect example. Like, movie 3 Megatron's one of the only characters to ever get a full-frame static medium shot of just him transforming with no swooshy camera moves and no stupid distractions, and it's still complete nonsense. Where's any of that going? Just imagine being the poor designer watching this happen like a porcupine being sucked through a black hole, and your boss is like, yeah, make it work, stupid. But as I suspect you'd call, the entire front end just sort of unfurls out of his feet. It's actually kind of amazing to see those shin sections unfold and like quadruple in surface area. Back end can be a bit of a rat bag, and it's not super clear what you're supposed to do with the chest flap, but it's doable. And check out this Armageddon juggernaut. This has got to be one of the sickest of all the movie designs, right? Like, this was the first time movie Megatron actually turned into something that was vaguely recognizable to humans. All his former Cybertronian vanity and face poking out braggadocio long gone. This is Megatron in a horrible mood, hidden within the deepest and darkest disguise he could muster, fearsome and foreboding and concealed under a sheet and unwelcoming. It looks like the end of the world. And to think how little they did with it. Like, I know we joke that the robots only get like 10 seconds of screen time, but seriously, 10 seconds. Man, suppose before pros for real. So the vehicle itself is sort of a weird warrior wagon as long as your arm, without any discernible real-world purpose. Like, it's kind of a tanker, but with a winch? Is this an army thing? I bet it's an army thing. I suppose it looks like what Megatron thinks a truck looks like. Because look at this bloody thing, it's friggin' savage! This is a heaving highway horror with ferocious final boss energy that kills on camera. From the right angles. Like, the cab looks an absolute weapon that'd be lethal enough without these racks of rust cleavers. I feel like I need a tetanus shot. But it is all a smidge superficial. Like, from the bottom or the back or most of the side or just not directly in front. It's impossible not to notice how hollow it all is. There's even a couple of dodgy gaps up the back, so you basically gotta leave the ragtop on and hold it directly in front of you like a 3DS. I mean, it's obviously an unfortunate side effect of his amazing concertina act. And there's weapon storage, brilliant. And it's a shame because the aesthetics, right? The vibes are hitting, the size is a blast. And in all fairness, you're not going to display it on its side, are you? But you just know it's there. The weight's all wrong. It doesn't feel good. And by the way, no tractor-trailer steering joint. 10 friggin' wheels, and it still rolls like crap because of these disconcerting dangle flaps. And I want to say, maybe it's good if you think of it like a metaphor. This aching underlying emptiness is a reflection of his pain, man. Bro, he's lost everything. The absence of a trailer hitch just shows his steadfast determination to plow on through anything in his way. It's metaphorical! Is it working? Have I talked you into liking it? It's all as empty as my words. Literally nothing going on underneath. So I feel like this thing actually communicates more about Megatron and the movies as a whole than perhaps it intended to. Because as a design, it's a vision of desolation and destitution. A menacing marauder worn down by the weight of the world, and he is not having it. But it all feels so dishonest. There's this kind of nauseous feeling that it's all a front, an act. Because come on, this ain't an avenging robot warlord. That ain't a murder truck of hatred. It's a prop. It's a cardboard Megatron face up a stick against a green screen. And ain't nobody coming to fix it in post. I don't know, I want to love it, and part of me does. But I can't recommend it, you kidding me? A bit like Dark of the Moon. Random patron shout out! Alright, excellent monthly Megatron. Join me for another one in March 2022. But before I forget, big love to longtime legend Jeffrey Dean. Toodles.
Be sure to subscribe for more Thew's awesome Transformers reviews. Limited appeal, keeping it real.